Good. And we're live everywhere. Okay.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Yay.
So welcome again to Seekers of Truth. Today, what are we today? February 24th. My gosh, the days are going by so fast.
I know.
We're already in February. That's
We're at the
crazy.
end of February.
End of February. Yeah, I know.
January seemed like it went by so slow. Now February just
I know.
it's
crazy. Anyways.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys are doing good here. We're just gonna
move this one out a little
closer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you. So today, Jade and I are going to be talking about dreams and lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any comments or experiences that you guys have gone through, please write it down, and we're gonna check it out as we go along. But first and foremost, we will
Play the
clear the space a little bit. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Yay.
Very nice. Still going, but it's really nice. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I know.
I have to feel like you have to take a deep breath every time.
I know. No, it's really good. Once again, just let us know if you guys hear everything too, the sounds from the bowl and whatnot. We're just still kind of in the process of getting everything organized so that we can make this a little bit more and more professional every single time. So any feedback or anything of the sort would be really highly appreciated. So first and foremost, we are, like I said, going to talk about, actually, which one should we talk about, the astral or the dreams first?
I really want to talk about astral.
Astral, yeah.
Okay. So much more. It's so much more interesting.
Well, it's not that it's interesting. It's just a little bit, it's just different in its aspects. One, you can actually control it, whereas the other one, you're just kind of going or playing the game or playing with the flow of the dream, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so
we were talking about lucid dreaming or astral projection.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. It's because I was looking at this one. Sorry,
I
guys.
touched that yet too, and I was like, wait.
Sorry. Yeah, I meant lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
It's completely different from, well, lucid dreaming and astral projection, to tell you honestly, are pretty much they're very similar type things. So
people will get them confused with each other because you can have a dream that you're doing something where you're actually astral projecting and you just think it's a dream.
Yeah, there's that too. There's so many different aspects, but I don't know, what do we call it? I guess I'll stick to lucid dreaming, I guess.
Yeah.
Although for me, it's very similar to the astral projection because you're just you're a little bit more in control on that part. So did you want to start off with the astral? Do you want me to start it off, or?
Yeah, you can start it off.
Yeah, so I'll tell you about lucid dreaming or astral projection is it's something that obviously you have to practice along the way, right? And it's something that you kind of really want, I guess, to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I can just explain a little bit of how I guess you can get into that state. So for the astral or lucid dreaming, I know that you have to practice quite a bit, like before going to bed and stuff like that. You actually have to think it. It's almost like setting an intention of it happening so that it happens naturally. So for me, I can only really explain through experiences, right? It's not you do it this way and it's going to work. So you kind of have to test it out for yourself. But for myself, in order for the astral projections to happen or the lucid dreamings is even before going to bed, let's say you have a specific issue that you just want resolved, you want to find like a solution to it. You basically ask that question and before going to bed, and then you project it in, I want to see it in my dreams, or you say specifically in the lucid dreaming or astral projection. The more you emphasize that before going to bed, the more you're going to the more it's going to start happening. It might happen just a little bit and then you get sucked back into your body, but you know, it all depends on the fear factor that you have, you know, within your system. Also, a lot of people tend to have this ideology. So kind of having, you know, a very, I don't want to say short-minded. What's the state? Like you just see it one way and
like hyper-focused.
Hyper-focused, yeah.
Or tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision, that's it, exactly. Yeah, it's a tunnel vision effect, and that will actually cause it to not happen. The more that you let yourself, you know, relax in that state, the more it'll come to you, type thing. You can do it both ways. Sometimes some people don't even do it on purpose, where they it just happens to them all of a sudden, but they don't really like it. Or they don't understand it. You know, when you don't understand something, you fear it, type thing. So you don't want to do it anymore. So you can do the opposite too, you know, kind of snap yourself out of it by thinking, saying, you know, before going to bed, okay, I just want to dream, just want to dream, just want to dream. And then you'll get back into the dreaming state. So you are in control of all of this type of stuff, but it's just the fact of depending what you want to do. If you want to get into it, you think about it. If you want to get out of it, you also think about it, just in the out mode. So with that, I don't know if I guess I can explain.
Yeah.
A couple of.
I would explain a couple more. I would explain like your experiences with it, because I haven't had a lot. Because for me, I'm still testing the waters. For me, I'm like still trying to figure it out. It's like it's not hard. I just have the hard time of like, well, obviously remembering to remember. Not just like passing out because I'm so tired from the day and like not doing it, but actually taking the time to do it. Because I find that I can't be too tired from the day, or else I'll just like pass out as soon as I try to get myself to like a calm state.
Yeah.
But I can't be too nervous or too awake for it. Like I have to meditate and really like relax myself. And I think now I'm gonna really try to start doing it again. I'll update you guys. I'm really gonna start trying to do it again, because now I feel like my life right now is very calm.
Calm, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'll have a lot more of an easier way getting into it. Because the issue that I always got was, it's like it's because always my intention was to be like, hey, when I astral project, you know, my guides, come see me so that I can see you and we can talk directly instead of like doing it through the messaging or the cards, like so like I can typically feel them around me, and I know like I'm safe and everything. And it's like I get like my whole body out, and then it's like my head is like the only thing stuck, and it's like I have to kind of like peel. It feels like a melon. It feels like it's just like a very hard rock, and I'm like trying to get it. And finally, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. But I'll get there, and when I do, I'll let you guys know, and I'll let you know how I did it.
Yeah.
But tell us your experience.
I have so many. I don't even know where to start.
Okay, when did you first figure out how to astral project?
When I was a kid, probably. It was in my teenage years, actually. I think it was mainly then. So as a teenager, of course, your whole world like revolves around what's like school, friends. There's not really much, I guess you could say, other than that. So for myself, I started realizing that, and I don't even really know how it started. I think it was because my dad, like I said, is fairly like intuitive. So he was explaining like when he saw certain things in his dreams, it meant the opposite. So if he saw like a woman having a birth or something like that, it meant death. You know, it was kind of like the opposite of things. So I guess I started somewhat focusing on that. And so it didn't just go into the dreams, then it started going into more of that lucid dreaming and astral projection afterwards. But the beginning, the lucid dreaming was, I guess I got fairly good at it to a point where I was able, like I told you, I was able to know if I passed or if I failed an exam before receiving the exam. Because I'd ask a question simply. I say, okay, did I pass or did I fail? And if in the exam, in my lucid dreaming state, if it was like a really low mark, like 20% or something like that, then I knew I had an 80, 90% and I had nailed it. But if it was the opposite, if I had 90% in my dream, I knew I bombed it, in reality. So that was just like a small little thing, but then it just kept growing and growing. And then they started asking about like my spirit animal. And yeah, that one was interesting because when you're a kid, you're just, you think about like little fluffy bunnies or I don't know, something cute. And me, it was like a freaking cobra. There's a cobra right on my bed. And it was huge. It was massive.
Think about like the Jungle Book right now. Like it's like taking up your whole room and you're just like, ooh.
Yeah, and it was just there like staring at me. And of course, in that lucid state or whatever, I was like, okay, like I hope this thing is not going to attack me or whatever. But obviously, it wasn't. It was just, just
Showing
sitting
itself,
there, showing
yeah.
itself to me, and that was it. And then I woke up, but because of all of these lucid dreamings, there were certain things I didn't understand at the time. But then the understanding came years later. Like why a cobra? Like to me at the time, it was like, okay, like what? It's a cobra.
Yeah.
But then, years later, when I started really looking into it, cobra is almost like a signification of like the third eye, seeing things as it is. And the Egyptians used it. And at one point, I was even able to kind of predict where my bed, like again, it was through lucid dreaming, but my bed would shake. And I didn't really understand what was going on at that point, but then I realized after it happening a multitude of times, about like 20 to 30 days later, there were earthquakes in very specific areas around the world. So I started kind of correlating it together, but I couldn't figure out like the location or anything of the sort. I just knew that there was going to be an earthquake and I knew how bad it was going to be, or if it was a small one or a big one type thing. And then, years later, when I started doing research, cobras know that earthquakes are coming 30 days before it happens. And I didn't know that. I had no clue about that. I don't even know how the information came about. But snakes in general kind of know like 30 days. Like cobra is very specific for, I don't know why, for like, I think it's like a 30-day mark. They know exactly. And so they leave the area, not to be in the area of the earthquake.
That's
things like that.
Crazy that they can know it that fast.
Yeah, I know.
So there's no cobras around. You're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's so crazy.
Yeah. So it was, it's a whole bunch of correlations. Like I said, within your lifetime, you get to, it's almost like a puzzle. Everything kind of comes together afterwards, even though you're not trying to figure out what's happening. So I guess it started then, and then it grew more and more. There were certain aspects that I knew that was going to happen in my future. One of them I kind of knew about my divorce because it was very in my face. It was very in my face, yeah. But it was just kind of like me ramping myself up to get to that point. And then the dream that I had was I was in, or lucid dreaming, whatever. I was in the hallway, and the hallway was really gray, and it really didn't feel good at all. There were a bunch of doors on both sides. And I was looking at all the doors, and I'm like, wow, like I don't want to open any one of them. But there was one on the floor. And there was light coming through. So I said, okay, this is like, the one. So I opened the door. And when I was looking down, it was the sky. And I knew at that point I had to jump in.
Yeah.
but I was scared. Like at the beginning, it took me a little bit of time before I actually made the jump, but I did. And I started falling, obviously, and I don't know how I didn't wake up. I guess I was breathing because I knew it was, like I said, it was a lucid dream. So I was taking deep breaths so I can stay in that spot. And then all of a sudden I was floating into in the sky or whatever. And I looked up and the door was still there. And then I saw my daughter jump out and my son jump out. And then I kind of got the point at that stage. I said, okay, well, we're all jumping together, basically. I didn't see my ex jumping through it or whatnot. So anyways, so that was it's interesting because it's not very forward and saying, okay, well, you're going to go through a divorce or anything of the sort, right? It's not telling you exactly, in that manner, but it's just it's a very cryptic sometimes. You have to figure things out. So yeah. So anyways.
I like how they do that though. It's like it's cryptic, but it's also not. Like it'll make sense when it's supposed to. And I feel like it is telling your subconscious like something, like it is getting you ready and making you aware.
Very much.
Very aware. That's crazy. That's so cool.
Yeah. So there was all that. What else? Oh my gosh. There's still some events that I know were told to me, but it hasn't happened quite yet. Like I'd be adopting children.
Oh yeah.
So I always wanted to do that for some reason. I don't know why. Since I was a kid, I always wanted to adopt kids, but yeah, it just hasn't happened yet, type thing. I think I know when it's going to happen. It's way later on. Probably when I live somewhere else too.
Yeah.
It's not quite here in Canada for whatever reason, but
not yet.
Not yet, yeah. And I know there's other stuff, but it's just not. Oh yeah, I told you. I think I started dreaming a lot about. And I was never really into it. But when I was a kid, all these like alien stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like aliens themselves, like the little bald big eyes or whatever. Yeah, no, it was more like I was seeing symbols and things like that.
Yeah.
That they would show me. And
like what symbols?
That's the thing, is I didn't like. That was the one thing that I should have done at the time, was like kind of draw it down. But they would just show me symbols, like they would just be floating in front of me or whatnot. And it was never like a malevolent type of dream with the aliens and whatnot. It was always good. But they would just show me symbols. And I just don't remember what the symbols are. It's probably ingrained in my subconscious if I go back into it.
Oh yeah.
But there's that. And I guess the last one that I can really, there were two of them. But the other one we'll talk about it after, because I want you to share a couple of things too.
Okay.
But the last one was I guess like what you said, it was a Palladium.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time. I didn't really know much about the different, what do you call them? Are they aliens too? I don't know. Considered aliens?
Yeah, they've had like I did a lot of research on them. There's like a crazy history to them on this earth and messing around with stuff.
Okay. Is that Arcturians or
Palladians?
Palladians? Okay.
Yeah. Like how they a long time ago like bred with us and everything like that to try to expand us and elevate our consciousness and like help us with our evolution. And that's why because like the blue eyes and blonde hair, I guess, is like more so like a gene mutation or whatever. And that's what they figured out. And that's why people are like, well, these are the Palladians. Like obviously they had an impact on us trying to elevate our consciousness and stuff like that. Because yeah, they're known for being blue eyes, blonde hair, and very, very tall. And so they think that they did it around like the Dutch people and everything like that. So that's like the funny thing is too. But mostly that's like spread around like the whole world, whether you have blue eyes or not. It's like you still have like a little bit of their DNA in you and stuff.
Interesting.
It may not make itself known in your appearance, but it has a pretty good, it's probably there. But yeah, they've done those things and they tried to kind of like help us like in the past and stuff. I've been told that there's like a really like majority of them are all really great. Why there's so many rules about how they're like about how aliens are allowed to contact us. I've been told is because of the Palladians, also because of the Greys, but the Greys don't really follow that. But I've been told that they're not here anymore. I heard that it was mostly like this subgroup of Palladians, and that's the reason why they have a lot of rules, because I think it was a subgroup who was really trying to help us. But the thing is though, and that why they did all that, but the thing is though is that because of that, it's like they were trying to advance us to a point where we as like a massive consciousness we're not capable to do yet. So because they were trying to push us a subgroup and everything, that's why there's all these rules around what they're allowed to do, how they're allowed to contact us, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Because,
I've been told they're the group that keeps the closest eye on us, though.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for some reason, this particular one was, okay, so within that state, that lucid dreaming, I met up with this Palladian. He just came in front of me, basically, and it, like you said, it was a really tall, very slim, all dressed in blue, and very blonde hair. And I don't know why I remember this, but it was very precise, like the front part here was like a V, like it was such a very pronounced. I was like, holy smokes, long blonde hair, and I was like, oh wow, this is, and blue eyes and everything. Yeah. No, it wasn't in that context. It was just very impressive being, I guess. Anyways, and we were outside and we were on a hillside and we were walking upwards, and then when we reached the top, I was looking around and I knew I wasn't on Earth, like it wasn't planet Earth, but it looked like it though. It had a similarity to it. I had the water, I guess, on the side, and there was a boat. And I remember watching the boat, and it was pretty cool because at first, it was on the water, but then it started flying in the sky. Then I can see underneath the boat, and everything was in a very pyramid-like shape. It was going inwards, and it looked like it was all glass or something of the sort. And anyways, due to the structure of it, that's what was helping it fly. I thought that was pretty cool. And then I was looking else all the way around, and then I saw these houses that were floating in the air too, but they were historical homes. I guess it's like really old homes or whatever. And instead of destroying it, it was almost like a display of that old history or whatnot in the air. And anyways, we were walking, and then I kept saying to him, I said, I'm sorry, I didn't do it yet. Like I didn't achieve whatever it was that I was supposed to achieve, and I don't know what it is. But in the lucid dreaming part, I kept apologizing to him. And then he's like, you're not here to apologize. He goes, I just want you to remember. And then I was like, okay. And he goes, but now it's time for you to go back. And I'm like, do I have to go back? Like, I don't want to go back. I just want to stay. And he goes, no. He goes, you do have to go. And then two ladies came. They guided me into a vehicle. And as they were guiding me more and more, like everything was turning more and more in the gray side of things. Like it was just denser and heavier. And so I knew I was coming back here. And then I ended up in the car, and I went black, and I woke up basically, or I came back into my state here. But so yeah, anyways, those are kind of like the lucid dreaming stuff. It's either to help you to remember, and I would say sometimes even to predictions for the future, depending which direction you want to go. You can even alter your state of dreams. So even if you are dreaming, sometimes within your dream, you realize that you're dreaming, and then it changes everything.
Yeah.
So let's say I dream, a lot of the times if I dream of my grandparents, which they both passed on, if I see them in my dream, then I realize right away, shit, this is a dream. And so their actions and reactions completely change. then they interact with me like I would interact with them. How can I say? Like they know that I know. So it's not like pretending in a dream anymore. They're just talking to me and seeing how I'm doing or how they're doing and stuff like that. If you understand what I mean. It's kind of hard to explain, but
Yeah.
it snaps you out of that dream and you go into that lucid dreaming state. And so those are some tidbits of my experience on all that type of stuff. I kind of stopped a little bit these past couple of years because it's just been like overwhelming on so many fronts. But I did do the astral projections too. And the reason why I say it's kind of similar is just in the sense that you're in control. You can be in control of everything. So even with astral projection, you can be obviously in control. The most evident one I think that I had done is I had done a meditation and a yoga, and then I just lied down for, I think it was like 40 minutes or something. And after the 40-minute mark, my eyes were closed, but I could see the room. So I'm like, okay, this is not normal, obviously at that state. And so I got up, but it wasn't my physical body that got up. It was my spirit, I guess. Anyway, so at that point I was realizing obviously what I was doing, and I was able to like move the energy within, the whole system. And anyways, it was really cool. It was an awesome state at that point. The cool part about astral projecting is that one you can really, once you get out of your system, you're really 100% able to control everything, but you really have to have really good focus.
Yeah.
Because if your focus is not good, it could be a really bad trip all at the same time. It depends if you're someone who's very fearful of, very specific things, you'll see those specific things because you kind of created it a lot as, along the way type thing. But if, I don't know, you want to go outside and you want to walk outside in nature or whatever, it'll happen. It's a beautiful experience. But it could be very positive and very negative depending on what state that you're in. So,
yeah.
So it's a little bit different on both with the astral and the lucid. Because lucid, you're still in a little bit of that dream state. You're still in control, just not 100% sometimes. Whereas astral, you are definitely in total control.
I know what you're doing.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to check on the Facebook to see if anybody was sorry. Because I can't see anything from this distance.
I'm forgetting. But yeah, no, let me see. Let me see if you guys have said anything and we just ignored you.
Instead of me keep on talking.
Alan text Andrew said, "Hi, beautiful."
Hi, thank you, guys.
And that is everyone. So there we go.
And how about you for lucid dreaming? You said, did you have any or you didn't have any?
I've had quite a few like kind of lucid dreams. The first time I remember myself actually lucid dreaming, like I remember the dream so well because I remember I was very, very little. And I remember one of my favorite like movies was like Barbie, like the fairy princess or whatever. And I remembered in the dream, it's like I was a fairy. But I just remember that I had full control for like the first time, like full control over my dream, what I wanted to do, exactly where I wanted to go. And I just remembered I went on this really, really cool journey. And then I came back to Cochrane, and it's like I spread like, I want to say like fairy dust like over all of Cochrane, and I made like the whole town like super bright and like full of love, and it was all pink and beautiful, and everyone was like so happy and sparkly, and I just like floated over the town and I just like gave them all of that, and I remembered I love it, and I like felt like I was like on such like cloud 9 that I remember then I had to wake up I woke up. I don't know why I woke up, and I remember for like probably like a couple weeks I tried going back to sleep to try and have that again because I felt so amazing.
Yeah.
So that was my first time having it that I remember, and then it's kind of happened here and there, a little bit. But yeah, just some things where it's not like full. I've never been able really to have full control over my dream. But just little things, like I'm able to kind of direct myself where I want to go. There was a while in high school where it's like I had no control over anything. And that's, I think, when I had like the worst dreams ever, because it felt like I just had put myself into victim mode.
Okay.
And it's like I had no control over my actions, what I did, or what the dream was going to do. And it was like I just had to experience it.
Okay.
And so then I did learn a lot from like those dreams and what like a lot of my fears were and stuff like that. And I think after I've done that, I came out of it, and then I started having more dreams where a lot lovelier, a lot more like there are actual messages in the dream and things I needed to know and things I needed to do. One of like the coolest dreams I've had was like one time with an ex of mine. Did I tell you this about how he took me on like a little date in our dream?
Yes. Yes.
This is so cool because I knew kind of, because like when you're dreaming, you're not just in your head, like you're in a different realm, a different like type of universe. So like when you're in your dream, I can meet Jose, and it can either be, you know, maybe a fake Jose, part of my consciousness, or it can actually be the real Jose, and we could actually be sharing this dream together, which is so cool. And I remember I had an ex, and he told me that he like his favorite thing was like going to go see people in his dreams and talking to them and hanging out with them. And I was like, you should meet me in my dream. You should try and find me in my dream, and we can hang out, and that'd be like so cool. And I remember we had decided that the spot was going to be the grandfather tree here in Cochrane. And we were going to meet at that tree, and then we were going to like go on our journey and like just do our dream together. And I remember he told me that in the morning when we were talking about it, that he had gone to the tree and he can't find me. So he was like, okay, well, let me go to our house. I remember he went to my house and he can't find me there either. So then he ended up going to the place that I worked at the time, and he found me there laying on the floor, and I was completely asleep. And the way that I remember the dream is I remember him waking me up on like the floor of the store, and him being like, hey, like, we gotta go, you know, type of thing, and me being like, oh, like, okay, let's head on out, I guess. And I really kind of forgot that the plan that we had beforehand, but I just remember him kind of taking my hand, and we went on like this beautiful walk. And I remembered because I like, oh my gosh, I remember the dream so well, because I remember the sky was I remember it was like a whole bunch of like grassy area and like little hills and stuff like that. You could see the mountains in the distance, but the sky was like a Van Gogh Starry Night, but it was like a sunset. So it had like all the orange and the yellow and like the sun going down, and like, oh, so beautiful. And I remember we just kind of walked along, we just hung out, we just talked, and then finally he had to go. So I was like, okay, well, I'll see you later. I'm gonna continue this dream now. And yeah, and then I remembered he left, and then I carried on with my own dream, which turned into a nightmare, but that's okay. It went south so fast. I went from like this beautiful date to being like, oh, this is like the worst thing to ever happen. It's fine though. Yeah. It was really funny because like I don't know like what it was, but the place where I worked at was really close to the bar where I would go to my friends like on like the weekends, stuff like that, and that's where the walk is. So as soon as he left, I was like, okay, well, let me go see my friends at the bar now. And a bar has this like low energy, and I feel like that's what gave me that nightmare, is thinking about that low energy. But no, such a cool dream. It was crazy too, because when we talked about it in the morning, I didn't know if I really believed it. So I remember I got him to kind of tell me about it. And as soon as he said, like, do you remember how cool the sky was? I was like, oh shit, yeah. I was like,
nice.
I was like, oh, so this really did happen. Like, because that was just a theme point of the dream, was that sky and how beautiful it was. So that was crazy. That was really, really cool. But that also showed me that, yeah. So now in my dreams, I feel like it's something in the back of my head where I'm like, when I see somebody in my dream, I'm like, is it you or is it you? You know what I mean? I kind of think about it a little bit harder. Sometimes I definitely think it is. Sometimes I do think that it's kind of like just my imagination type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, now what I find is I have a lot of dreams where I have them kind of like over and over again, and they kind of happen like slightly little different, and it's like it happens over and over again until I get to the end of the dream. And it's typically not that long. The ending is sometimes what I didn't expect the ending to be, but exactly what it's like supposed to be. And it's just to kind of give me some, yeah, I guess to give me like an awareness or something like that, or information. That's a really, really cool thing. But yeah, I remember for the longest time when I was trying to get to lucid dreaming again, after high school and stuff, honestly, what I would just say I would just like I would ask my higher self and my guides to help me to lucid dream, and I would just say that before I went to bed.
Yeah.
Help me to lucid dream and help me to remember my dream.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I remember my dream pretty well. And I can lucid dream. I don't say as much anymore, but I think now I'm going to start with those questions and now get to ask a few things. I have so much still to learn about, like, do this and experience this. It's fun though. It's really fun. It's just so cool.
It's a never-ending learning process. That's for
right?
sure.
Oh yeah, my favorite thing is when sometimes when I'm walking like and during my day and I'm going about my day, I'll have like little flashbacks to the dreams I just had. Like I remembered when I just got here and she was about to open the door and I looked back at the one house and it was like this yellow house and I was like, oh shit, I was there last night. I was like trying to. I remembered how it worked. I don't know if I think it was maybe kind of lucid dreaming. I was on a journey and I had to fly over the house. And I remember when I flew over the house, I looked at Jose's house and I was like, and I remember Jose and I remember her telling me about her dream and being like, oh, if you think about falling, you're going to fall. And I remember I instantly thought about that and I just like hit the ground, hit the truck. But
that's why I said it's really important that you're able to control your mind.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it could be really, like, even physically painful at times. So,
yeah. And I don't think it actually like gave me any like real pain.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I did wake up with a freaking sore neck one night, but maybe. But yeah, that's the cool thing.
It won't happen necessarily much with the lucid dreaming, but if you do the astral projection, then then it really hurts. Yeah, that's when it knocks like the wind out of you. If you get like sucked back in, and really fast into your body again, it can be painful on that part. Yeah, I did that once, and I didn't do that again. That was enough.
One lesson is enough.
Cool. Yeah, I know for sure.
Do you ever feel like an umbilical cord to you, or like a red string to like your body, so that you remember how to get back, or do you just know?
No, I wasn't thinking about those things. It was just I knew that my body was there, and when I wanted to go back, I just had to think about my body, and that was it. I would just transition right into it, type things. So again, it's all a thought process. I wasn't, trying to think of all the fearful things, because some people were saying, well, if you're outside of your body, then something else can get into your body, and they just put all this crap in your mind. So at one point that was, bothering me and such. But then, when you still sense your body, it doesn't matter how far you are, you still feel your hands, you still feel the physical body, even the breathing. I remember at one point, like when I was, I'm trying to remember if it was a projection or if it was it was an outer body one. I was meditating and I was completely gone. And do you remember Stargate? You remember when they go into that wormhole and it kind of, okay. So I was going through, I was kind of going through that. And at first it was like, it's almost like you're sliding, and super fast into this tube. And so I remember like it was kind of freaking me out a little bit. But because you still have the connection to your body, I was still controlling my body in a sense that I was breathing. My breathing is what calmed me down, and I was continuing the journey because of it. So there's always that connection. It's not like you disconnect or anything of the sort. I don't know about this umbilical thing. I never saw it or I never felt it. I just knew that there was still a connection there.
I like that. It kind of takes the fear out of it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I wasn't. After when I understood that there's still that connection, obviously you're not fearful anymore of it, of leaving and such. So, yeah, and then that particular journey, it was just kind of finding myself in another alternate world. And I was like more of a businesswoman, and I had companies and this and that or whatever. But it was interesting because then you saw like a planet Earth, and then it's like, yeah, I want to see myself on it. And so it was like spinning till it found me, and then it
kind of dropped a pin.
Yeah, like it was like a hyper focus on myself, and I was just like in a coffee shop or whatever, but I was dressed up as a businesswoman and everything else and whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I just snapped out. Like, okay, it's enough. So I went back into my body afterwards. Yeah.
That's you in a different universe, being a businesswoman.
That's what they call, I think, quantum jumping or something like that too. So yeah, I had that experience too.
Oh my gosh, I wonder if like you did that and then you actually went into her body, if you would quantum jump from this like body, like you would change like your reality.
That's a good question. I don't know. That would be something to try out.
I feel like I'd have to be a little bit careful about that. I would have to I would be so selective, being like, okay, like which version of Jay do I want to be?
Yeah, of course. You don't want to go into, a negative experience one, unless it's to learn.
Yeah, unless it's to learn. I think I would just like a few things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I would just like a few things, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, that's what manifest. That's what quantum, because you want a few things. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I think I'd pick a Richard Jade. To be honest, I think I would pick a Richard Jade.
I know. I think that's what everybody would probably go for first. I'm like, okay, I want to see myself rich in another life or in a distant universe, I guess. But yeah. Anyways, those are mainly my. I think I had one other one where I can call it more of a lucid dream. Again, it was very cryptic. And this was near the end of when I was taking my courses for the universal energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I guess to make a long story short, again, this was before my divorce. So when things really started changing and anyways, within the dream, I dreamt that I was on this island with my husband at the time. And oddly enough, he was like butt naked walking around, and there was a little town, and we were walking, and he was hiding like there was no tomorrow, like wherever he could hide, he was, because he was naked, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, who gives a fuck, like doesn't matter, just walk, let's just continue walking. And he kept on hiding. And then we ended up being at the end of the island, and there was this massive boat. It was quite a ways away. It was one of those, cruises. And he goes, let's go swim there. And I'm looking, I'm like, it doesn't seem far, but it's really far away. Like,
yeah,
it was an illusion basically of the distance. I said, that's really far type thing. Like, I really don't want to swim in the ocean that far. And then I didn't, and he went. And I remember, I'm like, okay, whatever. And I did go into the ocean, just by the beach, and I was swimming a little bit, and I was tired, and I lied down on my back, like, when you're floating on the water, I was just kind of relaxing that way.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I see, what are they called? Humpback whales.
Oh.
And I mean, it's really impressive, even in your lucid dreaming state. I mean, they're massive, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So I started kind of trying to come back to shore, but one of them jumped out of the water and he went back in, and I'm like, okay, all right, I gotta go get back to the shore. But then he lifted up his tail and he smacked it on the water. And it wasn't threatening. It was just, it was actually quite beautiful to see it. But I saw the wave coming at me, and I'm like, oh my gosh. It wasn't one of those waves that, the like surfing waves. It was just like a huge bump, basically.
Oh.
And I saw the bump, like massive bump coming, and I'm like, okay, I have to ride this. Like, even if I try to swim back, I'm not gonna make it, type thing.
Yeah.
So I said, just let it go and go through it, and it's exactly that. It came right at me, and of course I went above it, and I went onto the other side. And then again, same thing. I'm like, okay, I'm tired, and I just went back floating on my back again. And then I saw that the humpback whales were there, but it was a family. So it was the mom, the dad, and 2 babies. And one of them just came up to me, and he was just hitting my hand like he wanted to play. And then I woke up. Anyways, so it was just to kind of like warn me. Well, now that I see it obviously there, but at the time it was to warn me that certain things were going to leave. Or people were going to leave. And obviously a whole bunch of not problems, but what's the word?
Illusions?
Like whatever I see as difficulty, like coming my way, type thing. I was gonna overcome it, basically.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of meant on that part. It wasn't gonna take me over. I was gonna go over it and not to worry about it.
Yeah.
And then to have fun afterwards in the end, like not to be too serious, I guess you can say. Just enjoy life afterwards, because I was really tired being on the water and just like vegging out and not doing anything. I was extremely tired at that point. So anyways, so again, very cryptic, things, but and I forgot what the whales mean again.
I thought they meant like intelligence.
It's like wisdom or something like that. Yeah. So, by looking everything up and seeing what it is, it explained a little bit of what was going to happen in my life, anyways.
Wow.
What was coming. So just to be aware of it and all that. So
yeah.
So yeah, that was my last that I can remember.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. On that note, I don't know how long we've been talking.
I was gonna say too. It's 1:39, 1:40. How long have we been talking?
That's a good question. I'm not even sure.
I think it's like a good hour. That actually went by really fast.
It did, yes, go really fast, to tell you honestly. Yeah, no, it's good. Well then,
I was gonna say we should do the little reading then.
Yes, definitely. And if you guys have anything to say, I don't know. I can't really see on my. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to come up close because I don't have my glasses.
You have to be what?
You have to be careful of negative wandering souls. So, that's the other thing too.
Like insidious, so they want to try and get your body type of thing.
I guess, yeah. If it's not only getting into your body, it's just having them around, right? Like just other souls, kind of, especially if you're doing the astral projection and whatnot. But again, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the practice with the universal energy too. It was always teaching us to help these other souls that are wanderers or whatnot, just to either follow that path of light or go back into reincarnation. So it really alleviates a lot of the fear factor in all of that. So for me.
Right? Yeah. And I feel like the fear factor is what, like, if you think they're going to steal your body, they're going to steal your body.
That's That's why I said it's really important to have a hyper focus to not get into that state of stuff. Yeah.
Also, I feel like that's why I call my guides, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm gone. You guys watch this. Like, you guys make sure nobody touches it.
Put a bunch of crystals and everything around
oh my
you.
God,
You know?
that's what I used to do when I was in high school, because I was so like fearful. I put like onyx and obsidian and like all like gardens, like put it all around my body and be like, okay, put it like on my head and like all throughout my chakras and be like, I am now protected, doing like the gold circle. Now I'm like, I feel like if I just put like a crystal in my tummy and then put a little bit of gold light, I'll be good. I'll like do it once I get it. Once I know I'm out, I'm gonna be like, okay, get you in there.
Well, those are all tools, right? Like, I mean, it's the same thing. At the beginning of anything, I had a whole bunch of crystals, and I loved them. I was really attracted to them, and I felt like I needed them. So now it's the complete opposite. I don't mind. I have no attachment to them. I'll give them away. It's just to have them because of the beauty that they carry.
Yeah.
It's completely different aspect of it now. But again, it's just with the more you learn about yourself, the more you understand that all those tools are within you, so you don't need it physically, I guess.
No, yeah. Yeah. I feel like I've switched a lot from using crystals to using like colors, like different colored of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like different, like from like the pink to the orange to the gold to all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
And especially from doing Reiki too. But yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Anyways, do you want to clear the energy again, and then I can do the reading?
Go right ahead.
Ooh, I love this deck so much. Again, the Blue Angel Oracle by Tony Cremine Salerno.
Salerno.
Oh yeah, it is.
Salerno, yeah.
Salerno. So I tried to do the accent. Okay.
Did you want to do the bowl first, or? No?
I can. Do you want to do the bowl first?
No.
You do the bowl.
Okay. I'll do it while you're doing that.
All right, Spirit, please protect us for evening. Please protect me and Jose and the collective here, and bring forth what we need to know in the highest form for guidance this week. What will be happening? That's so funny, because that reminds me of what you were just talking about with the Palladians.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I don't feel like it's these. Let me do that again. Oh. One of them.
Wow.
Oh, I'll look and see what they say too.
Yeah.
Wow. Right? They're so beautiful.
They are beautiful, yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. Anyways, the first one is 28, which is protection. It's honestly so beautiful. It kind of looks like there's, again, what Jose was saying about like the Palladians. It's like there is like this earth that's like kind of elevated over top of it, and there's like all these clouds underneath, and it's kind of like there's like this beam of like light coming from it, or like a rainbow coming from it, but also like a beam of light going towards it. The card represents protection. This protection is like a little bit different protection. I feel like when most people think about protection, they think about closing themselves off and kind of hiding away and making sure that they're safe and everything. I think this type of protection is moving yourself around, having more of an elevated, a higher way of thinking about things and kind of moving forward. and kind of bringing that light in as well. I mean, people talk about protection using like onyx or obsidian and using things to protect us from it. But sometimes protection is also about letting the light in and letting it work for us and clearing stuff and clearing out whatever it is that we no longer need, and maybe putting ourselves into thinking we need that protection, or having to stay in a spot where we need that protection, where by moving ourselves, we don't really need it anymore. Enlightenment right here is 12, which is beautiful. Oh, and you guys too. I love this one so much. There's so much blue and there's so much like light in it. This actually really reminds me of the Van Gogh dream I had, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this week is very much important for you to go with the flow. Again, a lot of like releases type of happening. I find by going with the flow of things and not having to have things go a certain way, and just kind of writing it out, you're going to get a lot of enlightenment from it, kind of like a higher way of thinking again, more of an understanding. And I think that's going to help to clear out some things in your life that you no longer need and keep you on that direction of going for enlightenment and just going with the flow and not having to worry so much. Aromases. I like this because this really makes me think about like your three eyes, the 1, 2, and 3. I like the pink. Pink to me makes me think of like love, like love. Like rose quartz type of love. Like pink is just the color of love that I use, and the fact that the eye at the top there, his whole eye is like in pink. That's kind of why I think this is kind of calling on you to have, when you're trying to have a higher perspective or trying to see through the illusions or through the blockages with your eye, try to see it from a spot of love, kind of unconditional love, whether that be for you, for the situation, or for somebody else. This makes me think about the Ho'oponopono practice as well, using that to clear out the energy and to kind of, because it's kind of like it's coming out of the clouds in the background. It's coming out of that foggy headedness, coming out of that, not that uncertainty, and saying very clear-minded. And I feel like it's that looking at things from a place of love is what's really going to guide you to get forward on that. I think this whole week is all about changing our perspective about things and opening up our mind up to what we're able to do, and the different forms of protection, enlightenment, and seeing things. So if anything's calling you this week to move or to do anything, or there's a frustration of sorts, try to look at it from a different perspective. Yeah. What do you think?
I wouldn't add much more to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like the first one, I don't know why I'm seeing this, but it's like the opposite of protection. It's more like vulnerable. Like place yourself in vulnerability. With that, of course, it'll bring a better understanding about yourself and about everything around type thing. And that's what she was saying with the last one here, with the clouds are like lower, below the eye type thing. So seeing things a lot clearer that way by the end of the week. So by opening up, especially at the beginning of the week, like today, being a little bit more vulnerable, asking for help, doing all these types of things. So you get to see your state in that enlightenment state. Enlightenment doesn't always mean, hunky-dory, everything's going well and everything's, up there and whatnot. It just means a lot of different things. I mean, things that you need to work on, a lot of shadow work. It could be on so many different levels, right? By midweek, you'll start seeing that. And then by the end of the week, you'll understand it's almost like incorporating everything all together.
That makes sense because the enlightenment 1 + 2 = 3, and 3 is a number of work. You know what I mean? Doing the work, putting in that effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And knowing that you're not alone, because 3 is
Yeah.
also dealing with ascended masters and stuff like that too, so that
Yeah.
they're by your side. If you need help, you just ask. Yeah.
And the 4 and the 3, the 4 represents the angels being all around there too as well.
And it's 7 when you add the 4 and the 3, so it's like 7 is number of what they call the God's number. So it's again seeing things very clearly in the end type thing.
Yeah.
So-
It's also about having luck on your side too.
Luck too, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Don't have to worry.
Mm.
The first one too is 2 and 8, which 2 really makes me think of love, and 8 is like abundance.
Abundance, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm.
Yeah.
Gratitude, abundance, all of that type of stuff. So
Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is
Awesome.
a nice week. I really like that.
Seems a little bit more calm
It does.
than the past couple of weeks, I find.
Yeah.
So this one, for some reason, I feel calmer. Yeah, just looking at it and reading it, it's there's a lot more calmness to it. So
Right.
hopefully that'd be nice.
I know.
Are we in any retrogrades and stuff like that again? I don't know, but
I think we're actually ending a retrograde. I didn't know we were in a retrograde with
probably.
like Mars until the 23rd. What day are we? Or past
24th.
the 24th. Okay, yes, we just ended one then.
Okay, cool.
I think so.
Okay, good.
I'm not sure what's like retro. I should do my research on that.
Yeah.
Making sure we're not like getting Mercury retrograde or something.
We should bring either Rhonda or Denise on here to
Yeah.
do all the astrology
Let
stuff
us
with us.
know.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah.
That's it. So cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, again for being here. And yeah, we'll be here next week. I don't even know what the subject is going to be for next week, but
Yeah, because we kind of talked about astral projecting this one.
but we kind of brought it in
Yeah.
into the session. So we'll I'll post it up and let you guys
Yeah.
know ahead of time before next week. So we'll do that. So thank you again for everything, guys, and thank you for being here. And we will see you next Monday for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
See you guys. Have a good week.
Yes, have a good week. And let us know how your week goes too.
Yeah.
Okay, here I'm going to.
I think it's the
There you go.
Going
Going
everywhere.
everywhere.
Awkward moment.
I know.
See ya.
See ya.